progress. Cost of living gone up 100%, yet you give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people, search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public base, then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fear with the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment, and you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clouds. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Barretons too. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. I done fed up on the dirty water, low pressure, want scream and tell somebody. Imagine 1500 US, and they're telling me super salary. I done fed up on the unemployment.
There and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
Su? Oh, Su? My relationship?
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout, and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%, yet you give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people, search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public base, then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look out. Imagine 18 hours of blackout, and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%, yet you give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people, search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public base, then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up.
There and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
Su? Oh, Su? My relationship?
Yeah, my name is Jasmiti Kaldata, Francis Vietnam, and since 1965, I become a voter, and I always place my ex next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
All right, hey, guess what? It's Friday, right? Many of you have gotten paid. Some of you are waiting on that 100,000 handout from the corrupt PPP regime. Of course, they're taking that from your money. So they're taking your money and bribing you. We've never heard that in probably most parts of the world, where a corrupt regime like the PPP, they're taking your money and they're bribing you. So nothing at all about 100,000 cash grant or whatever handout they're talking about. Nothing. It goes to show that the PPP regime, they do not have a plan. It goes to show that the PPP regime does not care about you. But here is what's going to happen. They are going to intensify the bribery come closer to Christmas time. They are going to intensify it because they feel that such optics will work for them. But it's not. They are going to dole out money, extra whatever it is, bonuses to the joint services, military guys. They're going to get $100,000. They're going to get tax free, tax deductible. All manner of things is going to come around Christmas time. Then, when they're done with Christmas time, they will go again to tell you that they have the largest budget. You know what I mean, right? The largest budget in the history of Guyana. You know, that's what they did the last time, because when they told you that they have the largest budget in the history of Guyana, over $1 trillion, and not so long after, mind you, over $1 trillion budget is just trickery, because not so long after they went back to Parliament for more money. And not so long after they were given more money in Parliament, they went back again to Parliament for more money. So they are called the more money government. They thief and they thief and they thief and they thief subtil, as we say under quarantine, subtil. I bet a lot of you guys probably don't even know when we say subtil. The PPP, thief, 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 subtil. Subtil, then I guess shame in their eyes. That is what they are about. All right. Again, good night to all of you. It's Friday. Some of you got paid. Some of you haven't gotten paid. Some of you are waiting for that 100,000, which is just about $475 US dollars. That is, you're still waiting on that from a corrupt PPP regime. Some of you have had a nice cooked dinner, nice, what is it, hasakori? I saw somebody cooking hasakori on, I don't know, for some reason hasakori came to mind. Anyways, we're not here to talk hasakori or whatever. We leave that for some cook show or something like that. All right, so good night to all of you. Welcome to Straight Up. My name is Mark Benshap, and thank you for those of you who have already shared the link. I want to touch on, let's start off with this. And as I look in the audience, I'm gonna try to see how many of you can recognize these individuals. An injustice done to these individuals. For the past 4 years, they have been persecuted as a result of corrupt Irfan Ali and corrupt Jack Jail and the corrupt PPP. They have been persecuting these people. These people can't work, these people can't travel or anything. And that is what they have done to these people. They have denied them an early trial. Jagdeo and Irfan Ali and other goons in the PPP regime have been interfering with the judicial process. They have been manipulating judges in order for this case not to be heard. And so after it has dragged on for over 4 years, Jagdeo and Irfan and Anil, all of them are pretending as though they want justice. They have tampered, as we can see politically, they have tampered with the judiciary. They have rushed to ensure that the elections petitions were not heard. Now, if they had nothing to hide, why do you think they have done everything to stymie the process of the elections petitions? Every single thing they have done to stymie the process. Again, that is what they have done. So now, and don't forget, they started a corrupt commission of inquiry. Now, why would they start a commission of inquiry, a CO or whatever, COI, Commission of Inquiry. It was basically to give monies to their friends and their cronies to conduct a farce commission of inquiry when there is an ongoing case matter. There was an ongoing elections petitions. These PPP vagabonds have no shame, none whatsoever. And they are a bunch of pacus thinking that what they do to stymie the process, they think that people aren't seeing right through them. And so for 3 or 4+ years, they have violated the constitutional rights of these 3 persons and others. They have violated these people's rights because they can't travel, they can't work, and they are being persecuted as a result of the corrupt PPP regime. And look, suddenly, the same Jack Dale who rushed out, the PPP, they rushed out to defend an alleged rapist by the name of Dharamlal, Nigel Dharamlal, an alleged rapist. They've defended and protected him. They have defended a woman who has been sanctioned by U.S. Government, that is May Thomas, Toussaint or whatever. They continue to protect those people, and then they're not calling for justice for them. But these individuals, all 3 of them and others, have been wrongfully charged with some sort of election tampering. Wrongfully charged. We all know that because there is no evidence. I believe they probably threatened the magistrate in some way or the other. Magusti, is it her name? Forgive me. And so they threatened the magistrate so much that the magistrate felt so pressured that she hasn't been turning up. And that's a form of protest. You can't tell me she get belly walk. And this is not being insensitive to the magistrate. I don't know what's her quote unquote sickness. I don't know why she's not there. But something isn't right about that. And judges and magistrates are not allowed to do their jobs in Guyana. So here it is, you have Jagdeo, as Tom Anderson would say, Jugdeo. Good night to Tom and all of you. But this is what, according to the newspaper, PPP Propaganda Rag, they're saying Jagdeo says, worried about evidence in elections trial being compromised. Imagine this Paku, Leroy Daly, or Daly, or however you guys pronounce it. Thank you, Denise Booker. We appreciate you always. You have your hands or your fingers on the pulse, always doing that. Thank you all so much. So look, guess what now? Jagdev suddenly is concerned about evidence and elections trial being compromised. Just imagine, he is talking about he is concerned about what is being compromised. Well, we are concerned that Jagdev has compromised the entire country. Serious allegations of corruption. And this is what happens. And we got to keep playing this here. This is what happened. And so he has compromised the entire nation.
There and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Sujurong?
My relationship?
Okay, so that's the evidence, and that is where evidence and fairness and transparency have been compromised by Jagdeo and the PPP regime. So this is what you call blatant political interferences. So you control the judiciary. These corrupt vagabonds in the PPP, they intimidate most members, or they try to intimidate all of the members of the judiciary, but some are strong to stand up against them. And Jagdev is talking about evidence being compromised when they are in control of all of the evidence. So what evidence? Evidence that, or stuff that they planted on these individuals and they're trying to cook up the books or whatever it is that the PPP have actually, senior members of the PPP are guilty. They're the guilty party. But yet Jack Davis says here, worried, I am worried about evidence in elections trial being compromised. How are those evidence? How is it that those evidence are being compromised? Shame on Barra Jack Davis. Meanwhile, he's running from this 10 or 15 billion US dollars he has, according to information in a bank account in China. We're still awaiting the ambassador to China, Ms. Chu, to say something as to whether Jack Dale has a bank account in China or not. Can Jack Dale, he has all that mouth to talk about who is tampering with evidence and all manner of things, but he's not going to talk about this bank account he supposedly have. He supposedly has a huge bank account, billions of US dollars in China. So again, I'm calling on the ambassador, Guyana ambassador to China, to say whether it is true that Jack Dale has a bank account with about 10, 15 billion US dollars in that bank account. And I'm not sure how brave the ambassador is to speak on the matter. Or if she remains silent, it tells a big story. If she comes out and she speaks on the matter, well, I hope she will be consistent, if you know what I mean by I hope she will be consistent. All right, so he is the last person to talk about evidence. And now let's get back to this elections case. Here's what's happening. The People's Progressive Party, PPP, Corrupt Civic, had released their SOPs days after the March 2nd, 2020 elections, which showed a victory for Irfan Ali and the PPPC. Wrong. This is wrong. SOPs and the elections results never showed that the PPP has won the March 2020 elections. It never did. In fact, the propaganda newspaper for the PPP went further, and this is what they've said. Quote, a recount of the votes several weeks later also confirmed that the PPPC had won the elections. False again. And this is where you've got to be careful with the propaganda being peddled by the PPPC regime. Actually, the reports that were submitted by the chief elections officer, Mr. Lowenfield, Keith Lowenfield, show otherwise. It proved that the coalition won the elections by at least maybe 3 seats or maybe more. And this is what happened with the recount process. It showed that the coalition won the elections, but those who installed them after they already did the rigging, didn't want the recount process after all of the corrupt votes and dead voters and all manner of things were set aside. They wanted all. They wanted all of the rotten votes, the corrupt votes, the rigged votes, and all these things to be counted. And then after they were counted, thousands upon thousands of spoiled votes and everything, they wanted it to be declared, wanted all of those rotten votes to help declare the PPP the winner. That is what it was. So the PPP didn't win an elections. In fact, the results proved otherwise. It proved that the coalition won the elections. But how many of you guys remember, was it Mike Pompeo, the then General Secretary of State, sorry about that, guys. He's the one who came out in the US elections and talked about after all the valid votes are counted and the results are declared, all the valid votes. But in Guyana, they weren't talking that language about valid votes and invalid votes or nothing. They weren't talking about that. Mike Pompeo and others wanted all the rotten votes, all the corrupt votes, stuffed ballot boxes and everything to be counted only because it would have gone in favor. The rotten votes all would have gone in favor of the PPP regime. But Mike Pompeo had he was singing a different tune as it pertains to the elections in the United States of America. Here is Mike Pompeo, former or then Secretary of State, U.S. Secretary of State.
Mr. Secretary.
Hi.
Is the State Department currently preparing to engage with the Biden transition team? And if not, at what point does a delay hamper a smooth transition or pose a risk to national security?
There will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration. Right? We're ready. The world is watching what's taking place here. We're going to count all the votes. When the process is complete, there'll be electors selected. There's a process. The Constitution lays it out pretty clearly. The world should have every confidence that the transition necessary to make sure that the State Department is functional today, successful today, and successful with the president who's in office on January 20th, mid-afternoon, will also be successful. I went through a transition on the front, and I've been on the other side of this. I'm very confident that we will do all the things that are necessary to make sure that the government, the United States government, will continue to perform its national security function as we go forward.
So you believe there's widespread voter fraud, that the reports that we're getting from Pennsylvania, from Michigan, showing vote totals in massive leads or significant leads with 99% reporting are going to be overturned, and that the United States failed to conduct a fraudulent free election?
Rich, I'm the Secretary of State. I'm getting calls from all across the world. These people are watching our election. They understand that we have a legal process. They understand that this takes time. Right? It took us 37 plus days in an election back in 2000. We conducted a successful transition then. I'm very confident that we will count, and we must count every legal vote. We must make sure that any vote that wasn't lawful ought not be counted. That dilutes your vote if it's done improperly. We've got to get that right. When we get it right, we'll get it right. We're in good shape.
Should foreign leaders not be calling
We're good
President-elect Biden?
It was next.
This was after Biden won the elections. The Secretary of State, U.S. Secretary of State, said it will be a second term of Trump government after Biden won the presidential elections. This is the same Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, who said that in Guyana, apparently there were no constitutional rights in Guyana for the people. Apparently all the valid votes should not be counted, but instead all of the invalid votes, 61 dead voters Mike Pompeo wanted to be counted in favor of the PPPC. Mike Pompeo and others wanted 4,864 absent voters to be counted in favor of the PPPC. 150 stuffed ballot boxes in favor of the PPPC, 47 ballot boxes without documents Mike Pompeo wanted to be counted in favor of the PPPC, and 1,278 missing oaths of identity should be counted in favor of the PPP. Yet, as it pertains to the U.S. elections, the same Mike Pompeo was singing a different tune. Once all of the votes are counted, the valid votes are counted, he was concerned about that. There's a constitutional right. And as long as the Constitution is followed, that is what he was saying. But in Guyana, they treated the Constitution like rag. In Guyana, they treated your votes as though it is worth nothing. And they had more respect for the 61 dead voters than they had for the thousands of legitimate voters in the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. So you see the hypocrisy. The hypocrisy was quite blatant. It was right in front of your eyes, right there for all of you guys to see. Years later, it is apparent that Mike Pompeo doesn't like what is happening in Guyana, and so he flew back there not to talk about catfish with the catfish expert, but to whisper to the catfish that they're not doing what they were supposed to do. They are not keeping up their end of the bargain, and so Mike Pompeo rushed to Guyana to whisper to the catfish expert that they need to get their act together. Simple as that. And after he left, a couple of things may have happened. And then, of course, you know, Mike Pompeo is the former head of the CIA. And outside of that, prior to that, he was a businessman dealing with making equipment for oil companies, he and his partner. Not sure if they're still doing that, but lots of things happening in Guyana that are not good at all. And remember, the current CIA director, Mr. Burns, went to Guyana, did a stopover in Guyana. Not to say to the catfish expert that he's doing a good job, and not to sit down and eat duck curry or pepper pot or hassa curry with the catfish expert or hassa curry or catfish curry. No, he stopped by to remind Irfan Ali of what needs to be done. Simple as that. So let's get back to the Jack Dale and his nonsense about elections being rigged and APNU, AFC are to be blamed. And all of the small parties, including the WPA, and all the small parties are painted with this rigging brush by Jack Dale and the PPP. But some of the parties want to pull themselves out, right? Like we're hearing that the AFC is pulling themselves out. You were part of a coalition. You can't blame one. If 5 of you go inside Jack Dale's wig shop and steal Jack Dale's wigs, all of you are guilty of stealing Jack Dale's wigs, not one. And so if all of the coalition, they're being accused wrongfully, mind you, don't get me wrong, wrongfully, it doesn't mean that one party going to pull out and say, oh, no, that's not me. No. It doesn't work like that. All of you guys are being painted with the same brush, including the WPA, including NFA, which is National Front Alliance, and all those parties gone to sleep, you know. You don't hear from NFA, you don't hear from Justice for All Party with CN Sharma and Savitri Sharma. And so you don't hear from those small price parties, none of them. And so all of them are being painted with the same brush, wrongfully so. So AFC, don't pull out yourself on a runway, you know, as though you guys are, oh no, it's not us, it's the PNC. Always trying to blame the PNC for some rigging of elections, when in fact, there's no evidence. I'm not going to stand here or sit here and put my head on the block for anybody. But if you show me the evidence, then I'll able to agree. Then I'll able to condemn. Then I'll able to say it's wrong. But you can't just keep jumping and peddling the same crap over and over, that PNC and basically putting the PNC in the bracket or in the category of, oh, that's all they do, right? That is not true. However, the evidence is quite clear that based on what we know, forget about the 60s, 70s. Some of us weren't around in the 60s. Some of us were barely running around in the 70s and 80s. And so totally oblivious about the politics then, unless we read a newspaper or whatever. But we've been hearing this thing for a while, that the PNC and the rigging of elections by the PNC with no evidence. Now, we can talk about what we know about the PPP, and that the evidence is clear that the PPPC is notorious when it comes to rigging elections. The 1997 elections were vitiated, and in fact, they forced for elections to be held in March of 2001. And I am of the view that, well, mind you, when the elections petition was heard through Esther Pereira, the opposition then, the PNC, was victorious. They won because they were able to prove a point that the 1997 elections were questionable. But yet Jack Dale sat there for 4+ years as an illegal president, because the elections were vitiated. I'm sure there was more that there were more evidence, of course, that the then Justice Claudette Singh should have declared, but decided to be a little nice to the PPP. But they had to call fresh elections. And that's one of the reasons why, at that time, Jagdev bumps raised and he had it in for Claudette Singh. Hated Claudette Singh. And so because of that, she was never given the opportunity to become the Chief Justice of Guyana. Instead, he gave it to his friend, Carl Singh. He jumped from one Singh to another Singh. And then, of course, with GECOM, they had Do Not Sing. So it was a set of Singh doing some singing. But I agreed with Claudette Singh then. She was fair then. I can't say she is fair now, because the perception is that she is corrupt. That's the perception. Mind you, public's perception is that she is corrupt and she's doing the bidding of the corrupt PPP regime. Almost everything she does and every time she votes, it is always in favor of the corrupt PPP regime. Claudette Singh is 80-something. I think she'll be about 84, 85 this year, something like that. Now, I'm not knocking people because of their age, because one day, soon, I will be up there too. But when I'm up there, I want to be able to throw back in a nice rocking chair, sit back at the fireplace or in a hammock or somewhere, something. Writing some books or reading some books and spending time with the grandkids. And oh my gosh, Mark, you have a lot of things planned out. I'm not going to be sitting in an office, at least not taking up public space, especially at GECOM, and doing all sorts of things, and you don't have the energy to do it. I'm not saying that every 80-something-year-old people don't have the energy. They got some 80-something-year-old. My grandmother, my maternal grandmother, is 90-something. And she's stronger than a lot of people that I know who are 19 plus, or 20, or 30, or 40, or whatever, right? And so I'm not saying that people who are 80-something, because soon Francine just going to get on my case, and others, Paulette Greaves and Matthew Dennison, and those who are in their 80s will get to me. And I don't really want that. So I'm just clarifying. And so Claudette Singh is allowing a lot of the corruption at GECOM. She is allowing Jagdev and the PPP to control and manipulate GECOM. This is why this case is still where it is. Because Claudette Singh knows the truth. She knows the truth, but she is not going to try to speak the truth to set these people free. Lowenfield, Roxanne Myers, and Mingo. These are the GECOM officers. Now, they just decided to just tag Vala Lawrence along with them. I don't even know why they tag her along. I don't know. But what I do know is that Claudette Singh knows that these three GECOM officers, these three GECOM officials, they know, Claudette Singh knows that these people have not done anything wrong. Claudette Singh knows that it's the PPP that is corrupt. But because she got, during the course of the recon process, somebody grabbed her and tied her hands behind her back. And that's exactly what is happening here. I don't know if Claudette Singh doesn't have a conscience to know that people's lives are at stake and that these people are being persecuted. These people are being deprived of a job to go out and work in the country of their birth. Their constitutional rights are being violated every single day. Their human rights are being violated every single day. But yet, Jagdev has the nerve to go publicly and talk about who is going to, evidence is going to compromise and all these sort of things. When he, Jagdev, as I have said earlier, has compromised the entire country. These people should be set free. Their cases should be null pros. There is no evidence. There is no valid or legitimate evidence against these people. I am saying it to you guys again, that this is a corrupt process to make it look as though the APNU-AFC government rigged the elections, when in fact they did not rig the elections. Now, if any PNC or APNU AFC folks did any skullduggery, then show the evidence. Now, Jagdale, Jumping Now, and Irfan, they oftentimes love to say, where is the opposition's SOP? They are the PPP, Claudette Singh, and their friends in the judiciary have access to the SOPs. All of them have access to the SOPs. And so what they're trying to say to the PNC, show me your SOPs, right? That's what they want the PNC to do, to show their SOPs. And now the PNC rightly shouldn't be showing their SOPs. But the reason why the PPP jumped ahead and show a different version of what is said to be their SOPs, corrupt SOPs, even a pastor lady. Y'all know that pastor lady, right? Tell me her name, guys. That pastor lady who, right after the 2020 elections, she run and she take up with somebody. And while she take up with that person right after elections, the person and her put on a Beyonce song, and she was singing that Beyonce song to the person. If you take a look at lying and something about take a ring and pick a ring and put a ring on it or something like that, right? You guys know I know songs, right? And so that is exactly what happened. Thank you, Norma Stewart, beautiful daughter. Thank you so much, Norma Stewart, beautiful daughter, who know in the audience there. Jordan, Bossman, Gulliver and all. Jordan, yeah. Pastor Jordan. Phyllis, oh yeah, I remember her first name. Phyllis Jordan. Phyllis Jordan said, in the interest of transparency, let me make this clear, right? That's what she said. And she basically pointed fingers, in my opinion, mind you, she pointed fingers at the PPP. The corrupt PPP. She says we small parties were given they were given a sprinkle of SOPs, and when we check it with our what we have, it didn't match. She said it didn't match, and so right after that, Jordan knew that pastor. If she's still a pastor, somebody should tell me. No, I'm not knocking pastor and them kind of things. Are like these days you can't knock anybody, right? You can't knock them. So if you find that, let me see. Let me see if we get that video. If we find it, then we got it for you guys. We got it for you guys. We'll try to find it. You know, where she said what she had to. And in my opinion, guys, in my opinion, she was basically pointing fingers at the PPP. That the PPP were the ones who issued those smattering. Oh, yep, we got some smart people. They're messaging me and all because they remember exactly what happened. And I'm looking for that video, guys. That's why I'm looking down here. I'm looking for the video. I want to see that video, but we will show you. We got to remind you what she said. And it wasn't, in my opinion, what she said, smattering. In other words, the SOPs didn't add up. So y'all don't worry with Jack Dale, Irfan, or Anil and these people. But they show their SOPs. But it is Jordan. Pastor Jordan. She watching? How you doing now? Right? Smattering. She stopped short because she was afraid. And so she beat out. And I'm sure they probably told her to say certain things too. One of these days, I'd love to have a nice sit-down chat with Pastor Phyllis Jordan. She's married now. I'm not sure if she got any kids after that marriage, but I'd love to be the godfather of one of her kids if she's going that route. I'd love to do that. And I'm not being disrespectful to her, but I think she stopped short of saying that the PBPC rigged the elections. And how many of you guys remember Brian McIntosh? Brian had a selfie stick, fell asleep on the stick. The selfie stick. Fell asleep. They were guarding ballot boxes, containers. They call themselves guardians of democracy, and they're sitting there and falling asleep on all manner of things. And some gunmen and those who purchase bulletproof vehicles for Air Panali and those corrupt individuals and all of them, they pretended as though they were guarding ballot boxes. All thing, and they fall asleep on my friend get away name Brian Marks get a selfie stick and fell asleep on the selfie stick. And when he fell asleep on the selfie stick, he thought that those PPP guys loved him and that they were going to protect him. They left him right there. Left him and they gone. And Brian Marks realized that they had no respect for him. None whatsoever. Absolutely none whatsoever. And so years later, Brian Marks felt like this.
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more.
Brian Marks couldn't take it no more. And so he came out and he started to speak. Because his conscience, he knows his conscience. Look, we talking about what we talking, and Dennis Atwell come back again. He's not listening to us. That's why you see when me and Dennis go up the road, he just get vexed. He come back and he said, Miguel Huggs. Who is Miguel Huggs? Who is Miguel? He said Miguel for president. He's not listening to us. He said Miguel for president. Dennis Atwell, can you focus? Stop saying Miguel. Stop saying Miguel. The last time you and I go up the road is Friday, you know. It's Friday. Don't let me start back again. Miguel. Good night to Dennis again. Good night. Dennis, do not distract our members in the audience. If you support Nigel, fair enough. I respect your choice. But do not interrupt the audience by every minute Nigel, and then you mix up Nigel with Miguel and Nigel. And can you listen and let's have a nice get together here? Dennis is my friend. I'm pulling his legs here, but I'm also serious. We will deal with that later on, man. Every minute, Nigel. It's Friday. If Nigel would give me a little raise, I would have been probably Nigel, what's going on, buddy? Dennis is a good guy. He means well. He's a brother in the struggle, and we got to appreciate folks like Dennis indeed. And so I'm not saying this to disrespect the brother or anything like that. I'm just not saying that. I'm just saying stay focused. Stay focused. We know where you stand with Nigel. We know whatever Nigel do, you're there to pick up after. You're there to support him. All right? We love you, Dennis. So don't get like your bums raised and you start off again tonight. And so the distraction comes in all form, right? And so let us not be fooled, guys. Getting back on track. Let us not be fooled. Now, there's something else I want to bring to your attention. This is what Anil Nandalal, getting back to the elections case and how they're persecuting those three persons. They're persecuting them, right? Anil Nandalal addressed the ongoing situation during his some show he has on Facebook, because everybody picking up a microphone and camera now on Facebook and they're talking. So it's okay. Democracy. So Anil Nandalal confirmed since Tuesday that a new magistrate will be appointed to oversee the case. Now, if you guys understand checks and balance, right? Checks and balance. Checks and balance. We'll get back to Brian Maxion. Thank you, sir. Checks and balances. We're supposed to be. There are three branches of government, or there's supposed to be three branches of government. The executive. Let me see if you guys, come on, guys, help me out here. I'm going to name one. You guys name the rest. We are partners here. The executive. I'm going to stick with the executive. There are two more branches of government. And don't tell me Guinea or Mango. We're talking about branches of government, mind you. Don't tell me Coconut Branch, Guinea, because somebody actually said that in school, right? Raise the hand. I'm sure Anil probably did when he was in law school. They said, what are the three branches of government? He put the hand up and said, Guinea, Gooseberry, and Tamron. Somebody said, okay, the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary. You guys are brighter than that Paku who claimed to have attended the University of IFLA. And so Anil belongs to the executive branch, right? But yet days before the nation knew that there would be a new magistrate in this case, guess what? Anil Nandalal made that announcement. And look, this is according to the newspaper, because I don't think I've ever watched his stuff. Maybe I saw a glimpse and pieces when folks shared it. But days prior to this new development, Anil Nandalal on Tuesday night confirmed a new magistrate will be appointed to oversee the case. So apparently this thing was cooked up. Dal and rice, mutton curry, bhaji, Saijan bhaji, said, you name it. Everything cook up. Everything bunjal. Tuesday, even before Tuesday, Anil knew of this. And then when they appeared in court, I think it was today, when they appeared in court, then we're hearing that there is they appeared in court, even Jagdeo mentioned it. This is what Jagdeo said. Earlier this week, they said, they call him president and all kind of thing and doctor. But we don't call him that here at all. He's not a doctor and he's not the vice president. Story done. Bharat Jagdeo said earlier this week, however, that the governing People's Party, Progressive Party, was questioning the slot in moving the trial forward. His bumps every single time. His bumps is raising. Every single time. His bumps is raising. And then at his so-called press conference, he gets some pakus who are described as reporters, asking some foolish questions. And they're always fixated on SOPs. SOPs. Always fixated on that. And so this is what Jagdev said. Yes, I am worried about the compromising of the evidence, etc. But the judiciary gets away with not saying anything. And here's the question Jagdev is asking now. Who is in charge? He went further and he said, they have to ensure that these matters move with some pace. But this is the same Jagdeo who never gave any rats, you know what, about matters moving in a transparent and an expeditious manner. He was never concerned about that. He's a brutal dick. It's Friday night. I gotta be careful with my tongue. I don't want my tongue to slip. He's a brutal dictator. He's a brutal dictator. Calmly saying he's a brutal dictator. Brutal. And so he has no moral authority to be pronouncing on these things and what is being compromised. And the judiciary. Now, this was a threat to the judiciary, guys. I repeat, this was a threat to the judiciary by asking who is in charge. And then earlier on Tuesday, Anil Nandalal already said what Anil said, guys. Anil said that there will be a new magistrate. Y'all read between the lines, guys. All you read between the lines, right? Read between the lines. They threaten the magistrate. They threaten the acting chancellor. Sorry, they threaten the acting chancellor. They threaten her, and so guess what? She rushed now. Rush. Where is that? We're looking for that article, please, Lemon. They rushed because the acting chancellor has decided now there will be a new magistrate. New magistrate, right? A new magistrate. It is because the acting chancellor of the judiciary, apparently, and I use that word, apparently, the acting chancellor of the judiciary felt intimidated, and she probably felt as though she threatened. Hence, she was forced to make this decision. Now, if the magistrate is not well, how many magistrates have gone unwell? But the PPP, they were never concerned about that. There are many folks who are languishing in prison on capital offense charges and so forth. And Jack Dave nor the PPP are concerned about expeditious trials and all these things. But because this is in favor, they want this trial to be cooked up so that it appears as though they are the not guilty party. They are guilty. And again, I repeat, guys, it is unfair that this trial, as a result of interferences by Jack Dale and Irfan and Anil and these guys, it is unfair that these people have to start all over again. This is sad. This should never be the case. There's no evidence against these people. And I hope the opposition will continue to support these folks, or even more so. They've got to be more aggressive. The AFC and so forth don't have to be afraid to confront this injustice. They don't have to be afraid to say that these folks are being persecuted. In fact, it will be in the best interest of the AFC to come outright and say that the PVPC rigged the elections, instead of trying to walk away and make themselves look like they're nice and they didn't do anything or whatever. This is not about who did anything or not. This is about justice. And they have to stand up and fight for these individuals, not just these 4 persons on the screen. There are others as well. And this is a miscarriage of justice. This is a blatant example of political persecution by the PPP regime. Claudette Singh, on the other hand, knows the truth, because remember, Claudette she knows that I know that she knows the truth. And for some reason or the other, Claudette Singh is quiet, and according to information, she at GECOM just eating dal puri, eating black pudding, chana, and so forth and so on, enjoying herself. Meanwhile, the nation continues to suffer. Meanwhile, the credibility of GECOM has been shattered, and Claudette Singh, a former judge, sits there and allows the PVPC, the corrupt PVPC regime, to do as they like, with no accountability, no transparency. It's like those 3 opposition commissioners. Yes, we have 3: Corbyn, Trotman, and Alexander. We have 3, but the other 2, I don't know where they are, whether they gone North Korea or where they gone, or they gone playing bingo somewhere at somebody bottom house. We don't hear from them. Now is the time that those 3 opposition commissioners need to speak out and be forceful. They need to be aggressive, and they need to be consistent. it is time the three of them call a press conference and deal with issues at GECOM. Now, they don't have to wait. And this is why when I talk about that, some of them get vexed, their bums raised. They wait until the situation is boiling. The pot is boiling over, as what has happened now with Vishnu Prasad being reappointed the chief executive officer of GECOM. And there is no justification in reappointing Vishnu, you know. And the issue with Vishnu it just didn't happen overnight. And those opposition commissioners just got caught with their pants down. It was there. It was an issue that I will admit, as Phyllis Jordan, Pastor Jordan would say, in the interest of transparency, right? I'll say that I heard about it over a week ago. And if I heard that the chairman of the Guyana Elections Commission was preparing to reappoint Vishnu Prasad because it is alleged that Vishnu Prasad said he got to get something to do. He got to earn an income, allegedly. And so Claudette Singh decided that that is what is going to happen. And of course, we are not that silly to believe that Claudette Singh decided that she wants to reappoint Vishnu Prasad. It doesn't operate like that. Whatever Tanti Moral says from Freedom House and whatever Deputy Tanti Moral says, that's it. And so Claudette Singh was instructed that she has to reappoint Vishnu Prasad. So said, so done. So these opposition commissioners can't try to hoodwink us. I'm upset with them because they sit there and they sit there quietly with occasional coming out and going on 1 and 2 shows, like Vincent Alexander goes on some show with the PBP guy's name, some Global something or Globe something. You know, they just want to sit and sound academic and no, that doesn't work. They need to call regular press conferences. They need to hold Chairman of GECOM, Claudette Singh, accountable. They need to hold those officials at GECOM accountable. They have to stop waiting until things happen and they rush out and they start complaining, crying. Give me a break. Give me a goddamn break. Some of you might be upset with me tonight, but it's okay. I don't care if some of y'all bums raise. It's okay. At least when y'all bums raise, it's different from when Jack Dale and Irfan their bums raise, right? And so they got to, the GECOM, opposition GECOM chair representatives, they got to get their act together, the commissioners. They need to get their act together and stop complaining and crying like little babies afterwards. Bring these things out. Right. Where is Charles Corbyn? Can somebody say where Charles Corbyn is? Where is Charles Corbyn? Where is Desmond Trotman? Where are those guys? Am I wrong for calling them out? Am I wrong for saying they need to be more aggressive? Every single time they come out and cry when the thing don't happen. But instead, they knew that Claudette Singh was signaling her intention was to reappoint Vishnu Prasad. But they not said nothing. That is when they should have been aggressive. And that is when it should have been taken to the commission. And we know once it's taken to the commission, guess what's going to happen? The 3 opposition commissioners will more likely vote against it. The 3 PVP selected commissioners will vote in favor of Vishnu Prasad being reappointed. And so you got 3 on 3. And when you get the 3 on 3, guess what's going to happen? Guess who is going to go in there and break that tie? She has that, according to the law, she could go in and break that tie. She's not going to break the tie on the side of the opposition commissioners. She never does that. She's always breaking bread with the PPPC. Every single time there's a vote, everything she does is for the PPPC. Every single thing, PPPP. She gets stamped on her forehead, PPP. She wear PPP dress. She wear PPP tie. She wear PPP. Every single thing for she is PPP. Y'all can't see that? I not see that? What's taking you guys so long to understand that GECOM is compromised? Jack Davis talking about evidence is compromised. The entire GECOM is compromised. The voters list is bloated. It is corrupt. It is compromised. And the chairman GECOM is compromising the entire electoral process as a result of orders from the PPP regime. That is what's going on. That is more dangerous than almost anything else right now. When you have an electoral system that is as compromised and as corrupt as the Guyana Elections Commission, you can kiss democracy goodbye. You can kiss free and fair elections goodbye. And y'all could dance now, and 6 of y'all could go in front of GECOM every Tuesday, and palang every Tuesday. Now, I respect those people, but they're going there every Tuesday. In the long term, it will turn out to be a waste of time because GECOM is compromised. Compliments of Claudette Singh. And that is why they wanted to put Vishnu Prasad back there again. Vishnu, good night if you're listening. And that is what they're doing. They get Vishnu Prasad, they get Claudette Singh, and they get others there, right, that they're comfortable with. I think Vishnu Prasad, sorry, might be the deputy, right? Is Gokul Budu back there? All of these things. Correct me. Where is Gokul Budu? Where is Gokul Budu? Dennis Atwell, if you understand what I'm trying to say. I know there are just a handful of folks go out in GECOM, at GECOM, every Tuesday, I believe. I commend you guys for doing that. I salute you guys for doing that. But I'm saying while you guys are doing it on behalf of all of us, we respect and salute that. But no matter what you guys do, you could go out every Tuesday, 6 of y'all. Unfortunately, I gotta say, it does nothing to dent GECOM. You know when GECOM is going to listen? Is when those 3 opposition commissioners at GECOM start working for their money. Is when those 3 opposition commissioners start speaking out. Is when those 3 opposition commissioners start holding GECOM accountable, start holding Claudette Singh accountable, the CEO and the deputy CEO. That is when we're cooking with cooking oil, right? On top of that, 6 persons outside once per week, maybe for an hour, and then they're gone. You know, I know you guys mean well, Rhonda Lane and others. I know you guys mean well. But that's not going to force GECOM to change its dirty ways. It is not going to force Claudette Singh to once and for all, again, believe in transparency and democracy and fairness. That is what's lacking at GECOM right now. And they will move when they see not 6 persons in front of GECOM, 1 hour per week, 1 day per week. They are going to force into action when they see 6,000 people in front of GECOM, when they see 16,000 people in front of GECOM, when they see 26,000 people in front of GECOM to shut the system down. It needs to be shut down right now. Every single thing needs to be shut down. We need to evaluate. We need to have an audit, and then we need to decide on the way forward. The list is contaminated. And then what happened? Elections are held, and then whoever, and in this case, if it's the APNU, then they go on and say, oh, we did, you got to act now. Aubrey Norton went into office Before he was elected, he said Claudette Singh got to go, GECOM got to this, Claudette that. 4 years and Claudette Singh is still there. What is being done to force her to do the right thing? What exactly is being done? If Charles Corbin, is not up to the job as a commissioner, don't sit down and take easy pay. If Desmond Trotman is not up for the job, don't sit down and take easy pay. Occasionally, we get a little talking from Vincent Alexander. And that's it. And y'all must sit down and be satisfied about that, right? Y'all must sit down and say that's good. When I say something, some of y'all bums gonna raise, y'all get vexed and all kind of thing. Some of y'all might even go and burn garlic for me tonight and all kind of thing. A little white cloth, sprinkle it, throw a little oil on it, and take a lighter and light it with my picture next to it. The lady at Kanji Bridge did a number on me when I was a little boy, man. Right? All right, guys. It's 12 minutes after 10 o'clock. Garlic. Oh, man. I don't know why people think that garlic is something that, I don't know. Connie Alstrom is asking, what do I know? Garlic, right? Garlic does a lot of things, man. Garlic and little blue and little onion, and you sprinkle little black powder, curry powder on it. Oh, gosh. And then catch ning ning. All right, hey, my name is Mark Benchap. You guys have a great rest of the night. So many other things I wanted to talk to you guys about. But I'll do that on Monday. Tomorrow, I believe, what is it? Wayne Caesar should be on with Over to You. He'll take over and he'll do his thing. I know you guys, some of you guys catch on the garlic thing, right? Yep. But GECOM is a mess, guys. It's a mess. It's a cesspool, corruption. Who is auditing GECOM? Is there really transparency there? I couldn't be a commissioner and sit and accept those things. Not me. Not for $1.5 million a month, not for $2.5 million a month. You got to stand up. You got to speak up. The nation is at risk and GECOM is compromised. And meanwhile, these folks are being persecuted. Compliments of Jack Dale, Irfan, and the PPP. The charges against them must be dropped. Jack Dale has compromised the nation with these allegations that he has a hefty bank account in China. I don't know what's going on. This guy, is he still wanted? They sent the SWAT team to Brutus's apartment. But nobody's going after this guy. It is said that he's still walking around Buxton like nothing is happening. No police going into Buxton to pick him up, But they sent the SWAT team to pick up Brutus and to go into Brutus's house. I don't know. And Guyana could be a real place. But yet Jack Dale has the audacity to talk about compromise. He has compromised the entire nation. The sooner he's picked up and get out and taken out to Guyana, the better for all Guyanese. What's going on with Joseph? This cricketer, Joseph was sent back. Is his name? That's his name, Joseph. He almost looked like Kush, younger version Kush, standing. Or no, that's not Kush, right? He almost looks like Kush there. But even if he's standing next to Jack Dale and he looks like Kush, Irfan, because Kush stands next to Irfan too, right? But that's another story for another cushion on another day. But for now, my name is Mark Bencham. Have a great weekend, guys. Whatever you do, just be safe. Be safe. Better days are ahead. I'm an optimist, right? Better days are ahead. See you guys later. God bless all of you. I know how you feel. Stand up and be strong.
take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout, and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%, yet you give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try
there and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Sujurong?
Sue. Oh, Sue.
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout, and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%, yet you give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public face, then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up.
There and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Sujurong?
Sue. Oh, Sue. My relationship?
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
How we gonna do a body man walk right now? You ready? Fuck, so let me go now. Hear me sing now. Body walk, body walk, body walk, everything. Body walk, truck, body walk, body walk.
Yeah, my name is Jasmine Caldata, Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my ex next to the cop, and what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by 1 vote, they're losing it by data.